Hello, I'm Sobata, and my current hostages are Tika.
Help me.
No, fuck, you can't leave yet. And your friendly Wendigo, Nova.
I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
There we go, that's what I'm talking about. Alright, so...
I could go for some more biscuits, though, but you've just left us with water.
Fine, I guess I will add that to the grocery list. Man, you guys are demanding hostages.
Well, if you're going to keep us here for as long as you've told us, then yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, in a world where there's so many different types of podcasts, I figured let's just have ourselves another one. But initially, because everything needs a podcast apparently. But for full disclosure, definitely inspired by like one podcast I've been listening to by a creator, Papa Meat or Meat Canyon, who does this thing called Creepcast. It's pretty good. But my actual idea for this sort of thing was, well, a trip down memory lane. Looking back at old stuff, our earliest exposures to the internet, and I figured the first idea would be for us to tackle, you know, some good old classic internet horror from back in the day. Stuff that used to scare us, except nowadays we kind of look back and we're like, why did this scare us in the first place? So I figured the best starting subject would be about our eponymous... Is that the word I'm looking for? Or no, that's... I'd say infamous.
Let me...
Yeah,
what
I think
even
infamous.
does eponymous mean?
I just said eponymous and I have no idea what the fuck it means. I'd say more the infamous Jeff the Killer. But before we even get into the nit and gritty about this, I figured we could probably share, like, I guess, some of our earliest exposures to, like, classic internet horror. Because aside from Jeff the Killer, I've only ever had, like, 2 exposures to internet horror back in the earliest of days for me. Which I would say was definitely when I was in high school at the time, whenever I got my first laptop. Think senior year. So I was like roughly 17, 18. And you guys know how very sheltered I am. Or at least I was for the most part. You can imagine how bad it was way back then. Like, we're back in the day where I would see these stories. I'm like, wow, this is real. And that is clearly not the case. But, I figured, I remember specifically sitting in my mother's basement, and there was one story I read that it was spooked me, and it was funny. It was funny looking back at it because I'm like, I got scared by an image. And this one's probably the one that everybody is most familiar with. It was Smile Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was one of those people that read, like, the earliest iterations of, like, Smile Dog. I'm scrolling down, reading the story. I'm thinking it's real. And then that image at the very bottom of that freaky-looking dog gets me. And that, I could not sleep that night. And
after learning something like Photoshop, it's very hard to, like, take those sorts of things seriously.
Oh, God, I can imagine. But, yeah... That there's another story that I want to share, but I figured it would be better for its own topic, which would probably be my my Ben drowned story. But
I haven't heard of that one.
Ooh, Ben drowned is it was honestly I felt like it was the most effective in terms of horror, but that would be getting us off of the subject of today. But what kind of stories do you have to share out of curiosity, Tika? Any sort of classic horror?
Well, one that was funny because it was going around a lot was the Bong No Cheon Ghost, which was the comic that you would read by scrolling down, and then it has a set trigger at a certain point in the story where it auto-scrolls rapidly.
Really?
Giving the impression that the comic moves towards you, or at least the monster does. Accompanied with audio as well. And the great thing about it is nobody expects it when you send it to them. And it doesn't happen just once or twice. It happens 3 times.
Oh no!
And it's great. Just remembering some of those moments where it would scare the living shit out of everyone. It got passed around quite a bit. There was also a creepypasta I remember reading a while ago. I stopped halfway through because I kind of wasn't too sure about it. It was apparently one creepypasta that, like, if you read the translated bits in it, like that would like kill you or something. And I was like tempting it, like, nah, I don't think this is real. And then I stopped halfway through because I was like, this is getting tiring, but also I don't know about this because this is pretty long.
Oh man, it's kind of crazy how old school horror stories used to, like, to try to make them feel like they were real. They would put in something like, the last person that saw this image that I'm putting into the picture, I found his body the other day, to try to add some sort of like sense of like terror or realism. Kind of made it almost feel artificial, like it's trying to not even give you a real scare, it's just trying to force a scare out of you.
Yeah.
Which I would say, there are bad examples that have done that, but I would say one of the better examples was, of course, the Smile Dog one. Like, that one kind of gets you at the end because you're more focused on the actual reading, and then finally it throws you off with that. I think it was like the final passage, and then you scroll down, and boom, there's that image that you have been picturing in your head the entire time as you were reading the story. Kind of makes it have like a much deeper effect, which, again, I'll go into whenever we cover Ben Drowned eventually, but that's like one example of where I think it does the scare effectively, which is funny because I got recommended a channel that's been doing like this analog horror thing where it's kind of like a revival and makes Smile Dog much, much more effective at being terrifying. I'll have to send that to you guys later. But, well, what about you, Nova? You got any for us?
One story that stood out to me was called Ted the Caver. I don't know if you've heard of it.
That sounds...
Oh, that one's excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, I just recently learned about Ted the Caver.
Yeah, it's like a journal of a man who's into exploring caves and his friends. And they include photos of them exploring it and trying to get into this tiny, narrow passage that leads to an unexplored area. And it gets creepier and creepier.
Ooh. You know what? We may have to take a look at that later sometime.
There was one that I forgot to mention as well. It's a bit of a classic. The Russian sleep experiment.
Ooh.
Oh, I remember that one.
Ooh, the Russian sleep experiment. Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh, well, I think that just gave us another couple topics to talk about next time we do this then. But,
That one is interesting because it does present itself in a similar way, like a document or a journal, and in the vein of stuff like H.P. Lovecraft's work, reading it from the perspective of a diary or a journal is a very effective medium because it gives the reader the idea that they are peering into somebody else's life, and it gives it a bit more a sense of being grounded in reality.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, there's something. I think it's what you said. Like the diary or a journal entry puts you into their perspective. It feels much more effective at. Oh my God, what is the phrase I'm looking for? Suspension of disbelief, I would say. Like it kind of makes you lower your mental guards and you start. It makes it feel more believable.
Yeah.
In some respects, like this adjective doesn't necessarily apply to it. One could say the experience itself is diegetic.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the main character in the story doesn't outright mention the reader, it still performs its necessary behaviors as a diegetic form of media. A good example, like, just to pull from something, is I guess Amnesia, for example, since you've been playing that recently. The first journal entries that Daniel has written to himself, if you changed the mentions of Daniel to the word you, and only you, or, something to refer to somebody else in the immediate vicinity directly, that brings on a sense of agency more so to the individual in control, as opposed to making it feel that you are somebody else.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can definitely see that. Like, Amnesia really has been doing a good job kind of making you feel immersed, specifically with those little entries you get when you're playing an amnesiac. And well, I guess amnesiac's probably really is the best word. And you're seeing, and you're in his perspective where you don't know anything, but then you're seeing these words that he supposedly wrote, and you're kind of trying to put the pieces together. But
it's sort of like it flips the medium of that sort of style on its head, which I think it plays to its strength extremely well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now,
yeah. Apologies for the side tangent.
Oh no, perfectly fine. We're gonna go from good writing into bad writing.
Oh, I know. I've been reading through some of this, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, the pacing is so dog shit.
It's so bad. But anyway, so as we're about to go, I'm going to give like a very, very brief little bit of like history about the 2011 version of Jeff the Killer. Was ironically written by somebody called Game Fuel TV. Was initially, apparently it is a plagiarism. It is a plagiarism.
Is it really a plagiarism?
Yeah. It is a plagiarism based off of this relatively 2 to 3 minute long video that was made in 2008 by a creator named Cesar. I'm not entirely sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but I've heard several people, including like Mudahar and this really talented horror creator called Pastra, who actually did a rewrite of Jeff the Killer, which I'll get into that later. But yeah, the original 2008 video, it's bad. It is. I wouldn't really even call it a story, but unironically, I find it hilarious that a plagiarized story that was made 3 years after the original story is what got the crazy level of popularity from the internet. And to the point where some people believe it is truly the original, whereas Cesar's version is a copy despite the year discrepancy. Which, not good. But anyway, before we get into more stuff about the history and all of that, let's have ourselves a little bit of fun and read the original story. Or not the original story, the 2011 version. Which means I'm going to ask you two a very, very important question, because we have two options available to us right now. A, one of us narrates and I do all of the voices. Or B, I do the majority of the narration with a couple of voices, but you two have to pitch in at least with some voices.
I'll go for the option that doesn't involve me voicing anything.
Damn it.
I think I wouldn't mind doing narration.
You're okay. All right, that can probably work. By the way,
I mean, I've had to do that for Near Replicant anyways, and boy howdy, that game has a lot of reading to do.
Anyway, so you want to do the narration and I can do some of the voices then?
Yeah. How about we get Nova to do sound effects instead? if not voices.
Get me to do what?
Sound effects.
Sound effects.
I'm even worse at sound effects.
You see, the beauty of this is that you can just use Discord soundboard, so you can do stuff like this. Just.
Oh my god,
Here.
Give him access. Oh, give him access to the Discord soundboard. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh damn, I didn't think about that. Well, we'll have to do that, and we'll have to keep that in mind for future installments.
Yeah. I think it's just a good way to get around a creative limitation. Especially if Nova's not exactly comfortable doing voices, I'd rather just give them, a little bit of options.
Sounds
and
like
besides, the story is not exactly the best, so we have a bit of creative freedom to fuck around.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to fuck around. We also, because I have recently went over this. There are so many things that are wrong with this. there may be stopping points where we have to point out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, without further ado, this is the 2011 Jeff the Killer.
Very well. Do I have to read the bit where it says, excerpt from a local newspaper type shit?
Yes, you do.
Or can I? Okay. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous. Why is it structured like this? What the fuck? You could have it at one line, but no, you have to indent it at every opportunity. 2 to 3 words.
We just started.
Oh my fucking god. Ugh. As someone who's done a fair bit of writing, this is fucking egregious already.
Mm-hmm.
Ominous unknown killer. It's one of the unknown from Pokemon.
It's an ominous unknown. That means they're super unknown.
Mm-hmm. It's one that's just carrying a pocket knife around.
Ominously.
Killer is still at large. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story.
I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night.
Says the boy.
I saw that, for some reason, the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. After...
What kid talks like that?
Maybe you have to talk like you're a Black Butler character. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm okay. Oh, that's right. I'm actually a young boy.
Fuck off.
I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled onto my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of... I'm turning into David Attenborough.
Yeah, you are.
It's fine. It's fine. Go for it. Weirdly enough, it does feel like this is written for someone who speaks with an English accent.
There, in the little ray of light, illuminating from between my curtains, were a pair of 2 eyes. I suddenly went through puberty in the midst of this discussion. My balls just dropped and my voice changed.
And my face shriveled up like a prune.
I scared the shit out of the officers that were questioning me.
Okay, we're gonna be at this. Okay.
These weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes.
There's ominous again.
They were bordered in black and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth. A long, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked. I punched. I rolled around, trying to knock him off of me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. What is the aim on that?
There's a better way you can structure that one line.
If you're gonna say the man threw the knife and it hit the dad, you just need to... Do people not know how tough it is to aim a knife and hit a specific thing when you're throwing it?
Tiny tangent. I misheard what you said. I thought you said he jumped on top of my head.
He jumped on top of my head. I fought him back by headbutting his balls.
How you like my fish tail style?
Oh my god. Ugh. The man threw the knife.
Ever so useful.
Oh my god, yeah. The man threw the knife. It went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. Wait, how loud is this going on?
You mean your dad is, like, not the guy that can, like... Jeff Jeff is not an adult in this story, right? He's like he's
No.
a fucking kid.
Like, do people even care about spoilers? I think in this story, Jeff is 13.
The dad could fucking stomp his ass.
The dad could literally drop kick Jeff easily, even with a knife in his
fucking-
shoulder.
Just fucking suplex them like a Las Plagas.
Just
Yeah, but
suplex
then-
him and...
Yeah, but then the story would end really quickly.
Ah,
It would be
right.
funny though.
Oh,
And
no,
then
it
my
would be.
dad suplexed them and their head exploded.
And then the gray matter went everywhere.
Wait a minute, kid, I don't know how this story is working out. He's supposed to be still at large, and you say your dad killed him?
Yeah.
Right.
Died, but then he got better.
He got better.
You go better.
Oh god, no, yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
They drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash, like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken.
Wait, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. That's a run-on sentence, I think. I saw the window that was pointing to...
That's not... No, that doesn't work.
No,
That
no.
doesn't work.
The real statement would be, I saw the broken window that was pointing towards the back of my house. That would...
It should be facing the back of the house.
Right.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
you can say like I saw at the back of my house that the window was broken.
Yeah, that one would make much more sense. Oh god, we're gonna be coming across more of these grammatical errors as we going across. All right.
This is far beyond just grammatical. This is also just a shitty structure.
Oh yeah.
I looked out to see him vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing. I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head.
Thank you, J. Michael Taito. Police is still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be the best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Liu?
I think it's pronounced Lou. It's spelled
Lou?
weird, but I think it's pronounced Lou.
Okay. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain though. A new, better house? What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by.
Hello.
She said,
I'm... Fuck.
Wow, that puberty reversed really quick.
Hello, I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just want to introduce myself and to introduce my son.
She turns around and calls her son over.
Billy, these are our new neighbors.
Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard.
Well, I'm Margaret, and this is my husband, Peter, and my two sons, Jeff and Lou.
They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love them to. When Jeff and his family were done packing, Jeff went up to his mom.
Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you hadn't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid.
Holy crap, I forgot that line exists. That is so bad.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything, that line?
I don't know. That line just sounds so cliche.
If you haven't noticed, I'm too old for that stuff.
I'm mature for my age.
I'm mature for my age.
I remember unironically using that line when I was a kid.
So do I. That's why it's so cringy. Oh
I
god.
just had people telling me all the time that I was intelligent for my age, but that's just because, because of how I spoke for the most part.
Oh
I
yeah.
was very, thee, thou type of thing,
Oh yeah.
Jeff,
said his mother.
we just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now, we're going to that party, and that's final.
Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that... Wait, why would you put two commas there? No,
Yeah.
no, that's stutter.
Yeah, because you're supposed to put 2 commas into a section where, like, the middle can be removed. If you remove but stopped himself, the sentence will read, Jeff started to talk, knowing that he couldn't do anything.
I mean, that would not be as bad, but it's just, I don't know, you could put, like, a semicolon instead.
Yeah,
after
exactly.
but stopped himself, and that would work much better.
Like as this goes along, I'm just gonna get the feeling like it feels like it's written by a teenager.
Oh, it definitely is.
Like it gives
without
off that
question.
vibe.
Like, especially the really just poor structure.
Mm-hmm. Which in some cases it can be kind of forgiven, kind of.
Kind of. I think you're giving them too much credit for something that's written over 10 years ago.
Yeah, you're right. We should probably let's make fun of it.
We'll just lambast it and insult it because the person who wrote it probably doesn't care anymore.
Oh yeah.
Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything because he's a useless kid. Whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and really, that's too gentle to describe that.
Yeah.
Plopped down on his bed. That's too gentle. If he's pissed off, you could just say he just just fell onto his bed or just sunk onto it.
Yeah.
Something to kind of follow on with that. I'm going crazy with this.
No, it's we have to push through this. We have to push through.
So this is what you do with people. You tie them down to a chair and force them to read really shitty literature.
Hey, I freed your guys' hands.
You know, with such a nice house, I would expect you to have better taste in writing.
Just for that, you're not getting any tea.
More for me.
Don't
Your
worry,
tea-
I'll have
your
a
tea
comically long straw to just steal it from you.
Your tea rations are going to Nova tonight.
I see. However, so cruel. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking. Wait, no! Ah, fuck! That's pissing me off.
I know.
He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Not so much a pain feeling, but a weird one. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother call him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it.
That's a lot of feelings.
Why is it structured like this? That is bad.
It is a lot of feelings. I got a
That
feeling
whole
that this.
section, the whole section
The
feels a bit
feeling.
unnecessary.
Yeah, it just feels tacked on.
Are you saying you feel that it's unnecessary?
I am going
I
to
mean, the whole
disavow you.
description about going up and plopping down his bed and then coming back down feels a bit redundant.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The next day, Jeff went downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his okay, we don't need to know that he's eating breakfast. I'm probably gonna. There will be moments where I might just like, out of habit, just skip the really shitty literature and just like ad lib a little. But that's just instinctual. So I hope you don't mind.
I'm just waiting for you to read something particularly egregious and just lose it.
This is actually becoming much more. This is becoming more entertaining than I thought it would be.
This is.
Come on, you
As
can.
he sat there, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop together. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise.
I need you to understand the visual. Some kid on a skateboard jumped over them only inches above their laps. Like, think about that for a minute. The visual of that.
That's really stupid.
Hey, what the hell?
The kid landed and turned around, back to them. He kicked his skateboard up. Why would you put it together and then separate?
Oh god, yeah, I just now noticed that. The skateboard is kind of... Oh my god.
And caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be about 12, 1 year younger than Jeff.
So
Yep,
yeah, he
so
is
we can
13.
confirm he is 13.
Yeah, so he was
wears
13,
an-
okay.
Aeropostale shirt? What the fuck is Aeropostale?
Aeropostale's... Oh my god, Aeropostale, I think it used to be a clothing brand.
I think it still is.
Oh, it might actually still be.
I have to do research here. Oh, they're wearing one of these fucking...
Yeah, okay, this is
bogan ass t-shirts.
this is legitimately convinced me that this was definitely written by a teenager.
Mm.
Like they probably had an Aeropostale shirt that they liked.
Yeah. Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans.
Well, well, well. It looks like we got some new meat.
I'm vehemently vomiting at this moment.
Same.
I didn't realize we were back in fucking 2006 with kids movies like fucking Sky High.
I'm expecting this kid to say nothing personnel kid at any moment.
Oh, should I go for the edgiest voice I should go for this?
Yes.
If you do, I will die.
Okay, I'll go for cringe instead.
I because the voice you already have just fits really well because I can see this being Gary, and I'm like, fuck, I hate that. I hate that, but it works too well.
Anyway, you may continue.
The torture resumes.
The torture resumes.
Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was super skinny, and the other one was... Oh my fucking god.
The lackeys have appeared.
Crab and boil.
Oh my god. It is.
Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith.
He
And
wants
who's
to be
the
a
other one?
bandit when he grows up.
Yeah, it's your turn. You can do this.
Jeff and Leo looked over to the skinny kid. He has a dopey face that you would expect for
But you expected.
a sidekick to have.
Thank you,
What
narrator.
does a sidekick look like?
I don't know.
And he's Troy.
He's Greek.
He's Greek.
They looked over at the fat kid. Oh, really? Fatphobic shit?
Oh god. The fucking the fucking writing just like, it's no longer a writing. The narrator is the one saying this part.
Yeah.
Oof.
I'm gonna skip that, like, those 6 words.
Yeah.
This kid looked like... Oh, no, that's even worse.
Oh yeah, it is like it's bad.
God, I thought the racism in Tales of Arabian Nights was bad.
And I
Said the first kid.
am Randy. Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small prize for bus fare if you catch my drift.
Are you okay, Tika?
I'm alive.
Come on, you can survive this. You can survive this, I promise. I'll make sure to put fitting music for this.
You just want to put Gruce's theme from Skyward Sword over this?
I don't know who that is, but sure.
I'll link it to you real quick so you can listen to it just for a split second.
Oh, sure, later. Sounds good.
Now, come on, you gotta read the story, or else I'm gonna get Keith and Troy to take your money.
This is what I call the Chuckle Fuck theme.
The chuckle fuck theme? If I remember, I will put that in.
You're gonna put that in?
Okay, I'm probably gonna put that in. Let's actually get that. Oh god, that actually works. Alright, anyway.
Okay. Where is the story again? I've misplaced it.
The cringe made you forget where it was.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I blacked out so hard. It was so cringe.
We can make it through this, don't worry. If we make it through this, we get to the good stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like if you catch my drift.
Leo stood up. Really, this fucking thing.
I know
Leo
that.
stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him.
Yeah.
That escalated fast.
Reminder: 12 years old.
Also, do you know how to do tisking without actually enunciating it like it's a word? That's it. Yep.
I had hoped you would be more cooperative, but it seems we must do this the hard way. I'm a chain-smoking 12-year-old.
What kind of 12-year-old talks like that?
I don't
A
know.
4Kids one.
Oh god, this is a horror story that's been written by 4Kids Entertainment.
It's been written by Weevil's voice actor.
Oh no.
The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong, a burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him. Whew, okay, settle down. That is just 3 words. We don't need to feel like we need to murder anybody, but holy fuck, the structure's just... it's like getting worse at points that it really shouldn't.
Oh, this is great.
You're enjoying my suffering, you bastard.
Yes.
Yes, I am.
Gestured him to sit down.
Like, Lou didn't say anything. He just making motions with his hand, like.
He's doing like an overly elaborate hand signs just to tell him to sit the fuck down.
What the hell's your brother doing?
Is your brother a witch?
He's casting a spell. He evened out Keith and Troy.
I cast balls fall off disease.
He doesn't look like a sidekick anymore.
Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid.
Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else.
Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife.
Oh? And what will you do?
Just as he finished the sentence. Oh, okay, just roll with it.
Just roll with it. You can do this. You can do this.
Jeff popped. No, why would you say? Why are they using soft adjectives for hard actions?
This is seriously just feeling like it is written by a teenager.
I misread it just then. I thought it was just as Jeff finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose.
I mean, with this grammar, I mean...
I wouldn't blame you for it.
I would not blame you.
This is pretty dog shit. This is like grade 6 level.
So roughly the same age as Jeff.
Yeah. It's a diegetic reading experience. Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabs the kid's wrist and broke it. No, what fucking 13-year-old can break somebody's wrist?
13-year-old, remind you.
What, did you fucking get swole suddenly and just like...
Yeah, apparently.
Jeff, angry.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry, Keith.
It's so stupid.
Just grabbed the kid's wrist and immediately broke it. Just, wow.
Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw... So he knows judo now. He can throw people to the ground.
Yes. Just roll with it. Just roll with it like Randy's rolling on the ground
Randy
right now.
to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff... Lashing out doesn't mean attacking, though. Lashing out is usually verbal.
I know.
Is this Danganronpa where he's just dodging the physical manifestation of words? Like...
He yells and the subtitles charge at him.
Yeah. But fucking damn it.
Come on, you can do
There's
this.
too much stupid material here. Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. As someone who's not written in a while, this is wow.
Mm-hmm.
Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, really, he puked all over. It was the fucking anime gut punch.
Just an anime gut punch.
It's like the one that Ravenbeak does to Samus, except she doesn't throw up because she's not as much of a fucking wimp.
Oh God, no.
Lou could do nothing but look at amazement in Jeff.
Jeff, how did you...
That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and they knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver. rushing
That
over
Jeff
to Randy and
Alju
others.
part was some House of the Dead level acting.
The life cycle.
Worth it. It's perfectly fine.
I appreciate it because that just kind of makes me think that all the dubbing in this is just House of the Dead like 2 level.
I'm going to have fun with this. Come on, you got this.
Where was it again?
They saw the bus. I was after the. As they ran,
they ran and they looked back and
Yep.
they saw the bus driver rushing towards over to Randy and the others.
Mhm.
As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought that. Sorry.
Wait, Jeff doesn't even have any blood on him, does he? How are kids not noticing?
The fact that, like, we know he stabbed a kid in the arm and somehow didn't get blood on him?
He's British, that's why he got away with it.
Oh, alright.
I apologize. He has a really good stabbing license that makes it so it doesn't matter if he has blood on him. Lou just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids. But Jeff knew it was more. It was something scary. Oh.
What was that comma there?
Yeah, no, it just... Why?
It reads like he was trying to make it sound like a dramatic pause. So I bet in the person that was writing this, they were thinking it was something scary.
Then put ellipses instead.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I swear I'm gonna have like an aneurysm after this.
If you want, I can kind of help take over for this if it hurts.
It is a lot to read, to be fair. Where
All right.
are we right now? We're close to the... When I get to the halfway point, I'll change over for a little bit.
Sounds good. I would not mind taking over to really get into it.
It's also just kind of throwing me off, like, certain bits, because I'm like, why would they do this?
I
And
know.
I'm obsessing over it pointlessly.
We have to push through. We gotta do. We can make it through this.
As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away, and stay away for the entirety of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop. And now... Wait, what? No,
And how now?
And how now? He probably... Sorry,
I know the
so I have
grammar
a bad habit
hurts.
sometimes of like... It's making me think I'm skipping over a line when I'm not.
Like, okay, let me give you the proper experience. Reading this story, your brain tries to autocorrect all the parts that you read, but then it makes you double guess, and you're like, wait, did that really was that how that was read? And then you look back and you're like, oh my god, no, that is not what I read. Like, your brain is trying desperately to correct the errors.
Like, I usually read pretty fast, but even I would have picked up on this, and I would have just been like, man, this is dog shit, but like, wow. It's different when you're hearing it read to you compared to when, like, you actually go through the story yourself.
Yep.
Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, and how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore, he felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice,
It was a wonderful day.
Next morning, he heard a knock on his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at his door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look.
Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, and that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son!
Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true.
Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives on me and Lou.
Son,
Oh, said one of the cops.
We found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach, and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us?
Jeff
Having
knew
a
that it
bruise
was
on
no
his
use.
stomach.
apparently one of it was the one that I guess he punched in the stomach that caused him to puke. I didn't realize you could get bruised on the stomach that easily.
No, I'm commenting on the words, the way it's worded.
Yeah, oh god, it is worded weird. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
I
now that you mentioned it.
I feel like that's intentional.
Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there would be no proof of it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing, because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou.
Son,
Call down your brother.
Jeff couldn't do it, since it was up to it was him who beat up all the kids.
Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me.
The cop looked at his partner, and they both nod.
Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. That's
a very cheerful way you read it out.
That is not how cops work. Also,
that really doesn't work.
Like, I'm
There's
sorry.
legal proceedings behind that.
Two kids got stabbed. Remind you, 2 kids, 1 year in juvie. Really?
It's proof the writer doesn't understand the legal system.
Oh God, it hurts. It hurts. Anyway,
Wait!
Says Lou. They looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is
is
definitely
an
American
story.
police.
this is fuck. Oh my God! Just immediately. Kid's got a knife. Pull out your Uzi. Riddle him, boy. Riddle him with holes, boys. He's got a knife.
They haven't described the guy with the RPG and the snipers across the street.
They bust out the snipers to get a kid holding a knife.
Helicopter with its spotlight trained on him.
Wait, this is clearly taking place in America. You give it too much credit. Son! Wait. Oh, wait. I skipped a minute.
Yeah.
It was me! I beat up those little punks! Have the marks to prove it!
He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises as if he was in a struggle.
Son, just put the knife down!
Said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. Why? You didn't hold it up. You just put it down.
You just let go of it.
Yeah.
Are you just offering it to the sun god Ra or something? Like.
That's how you holding it up is how you get shot.
He put his hands up and walked over to the cops.
No, Lou! It was me! I did it!
Jeff had tears running down his face.
Poor bro. Trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away!
What the fuck am I?
Would you like me to take over?
Yeah, I'll let you take over for a little bit.
If it helps, I will take over for now.
It's a lot to go through.
I know.
and I have only still woken up recently, so.
Don't worry, I'll take care of this.
Tina's going to have nightmares later. No, not the grammar.
I will
Staring
try.
to sleep as I'm haunted by shitty literature.
I will try my best. The police led
Not
Lou
my
out to the
blessing.
patrol car.
Lou! Tell them it was me! Tell them! I was the one who beat up those kids!
Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please. You don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can stop.
I like how you're laughing, even though it also sounds emotional.
He just
The
immediately
mother's,
gives
like,
up.
cracking.
Yeah, oh well, I guess Lou's no son of mine.
I still have one kid.
She just gives up so quickly. It's so bad. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lou inside. I remember I have to double check because my brain's trying to correct things as I'm reading. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. My brain's still trying to correct it.
No, your brain just made it. In that one instance, it was like it shifted it to something worse in anticipation.
It's a self-defense mechanism. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. That's a weird sentence. He couldn't see how he couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. It would be off of his mind, but whatever. 2 days went by, with no word from Lou at JDC. And now we already have the name of the place, okay? No friends to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. My brain is still trying to correct stuff.
She got over Lou's arrest really quick.
Well, I mean, she gave up the kid real fast, so she was just like,
Well, it's been about 5 minutes. Time for us to go back to normal. Jeff.
Finally, I only need to pay for one child's education.
Yay! That means more wine for me later. I'm an alcoholic mother.
Wine mom.
What? Who's Lou? We've only ever had you, Jeff.
The unchild.
Unchild. That's the one.
oh no.
Wait, what's today?
Asked Jeff as he stirs awake.
Why, it's Billy's party.
He was now fully awake.
Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after...
There was a long pause. Okay. Had to take a second there.
Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brightens up the past days. Now get dressed.
Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He fought himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and a pair of jeans and walked downstairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up, his mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they ever wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party?
Son, is that all you're going to wear?
Said Jeff's mom.
Better than wearing too much,
he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit... His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit it with a smile. Excuse me?
What?
He comes down with an outfit and she has to resist the urge to yell at him? Okay. Yep, this is exactly how I remember it.
Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression.
Oh, wait, so that was his dad. Oh. You see, the sentence structure makes it so hard to tell who's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression, said his father. Jeff grunted and went back up to his room.
I don't have any fancy clothes,
he yelled downstairs.
Just pick out something,
called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he would call fancy. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it, though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts. Okay, you have said shirts way too many times already. None of which go with dress pants. Finally, he found a white hoodie and put it on.
You're wearing that?
They both said. His mother looked at her watch.
Oh, no time to change. Let's just go,
she said as she herded Jeff and his father out the door. That's a weird way. They crossed the street over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara... Wait. Hold on.
Oh, typo.
They knocked on the door, and at it appeared... Oh, wait, hold on. They knocked on the door, and at it appeared that Barbara... Oh, my God. Fuck.
Now you know my suffering.
Oh, my God, help. Just like his parents, way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults. No kids. Oh, that's right. I gave Barbara a high-pitched voice. Hold on. The kids are out in the yard. Jeff, how about you go and meet some of them? Said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around in weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. He might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Oh, God, I feel old.
Aren't those shut down now?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think Toys R Us is actually shut down. Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun and hat. Hey, wanna... Oh, God. It is actually... Oh, my God, it is actually... Oh, it is actually spelled that way.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Hey, wanna play?
He said.
No, kid. I'm too old. I'm way too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. Please? My freaking high-pitched kid voice is god-awful, said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started to pretend shoot at the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun, pretending to shoot at kids. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time.
Wanted to be a couple along.
Now I can send kids to juvie. But it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off of Lou. So he played with the kids for a while until he heard a noise. A weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboard. Wait, they jumped over the fence?
They didn't jump over his lap this time.
No, they went higher. They jumped over a fence. How much air do you have to...
Did they have a ramp on the other side of the fence?
That's the only way they could do that. This is way too cartoonishly. This is oh god. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred.
Hello, Jeff, is it?
He said. I'm turning into Rex Raptor the more I do that.
We have some unfinished business, Wheeler.
That works too well.
Jeff saw his bruised nose.
I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you, and you get my brother sent to JDC.
Randy got an angry look in his eyes.
Oh no, I don't go for even.
I go for women.
What an edgelord.
Okay, I can do this. I can do this without laughing.
Can you?
I bet you can't.
Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. You may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today.
This reads like a fucking battle shonen manga, but with poor dialogue translation. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by the ears and head-butted him. Isn't headbutt one word?
Yeah.
Oh my god. He shoved his head right in his butt.
What?
He head-butted him.
I just looked back up at the text. I'm like, wait, does it actually say that?
No, I was having a little bit of fun there. Jeff pushed Randy off of him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith both pulled guns out of their pockets. Holy shit, this is America. Of course a 12-year-old could get a gun. Seriously, who? Reminder, these kids are 12. And they just pulled out guns. Okay.
No one interrupts or guts will fly,
they said. What the
Shouldn't they be holding knives for that?
Actually, yeah, wouldn't it make... Oh my god, Jesus Christ, this writer.
Guns are what you use when you want brains to fly.
Yeah, I know. Randy pulled it. Oh, there's a knife. Randy pulled a knife on Jeff and stabbed it into his shoulder.
And also, these are literal 12-year-old kids with loads of adults in the vicinity.
I know.
I think the adults would just be justified in, I don't know, shooting them, stabbing them, what have you.
Like, seriously, the longer, as you're reading this, if you actually take a minute to think about it, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Oh, God. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks Jeff up by the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy, who apparently appears just out of fucking nowhere, repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood.
Come on, Jeff! Fight me!
He picks Jeff up and throws him into the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head.
Fight!
He throws Jeff back into the living room.
Come on, Jeff! Look at me!
This fucking dialogue. Okay. Jeff glances up.
Someone's seen action movies.
Yeah, exactly. Jeff glances up, his face riddled with blood.
I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC. And now you're just gonna sit here and let him rot in there for a whole year? You should be ashamed.
12 years old.
12 years old?
Okay. Jeff starts to get up.
Oh, finally, you stand and fight.
Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again. Stop laughing, you're making it hard to me. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. The feeling that hasn't stopped feeling?
What is that?
Finally, he's up,
says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's when it happens. Something inside Jeff snaps. His psyche is destroyed. All rational thinking is gone. All he can do is kill.
Pile drives him into the ground.
He grabbed. I almost did that in the Randy voice.
I need to check how the fuck does one do a pile driver? Don't you need to like bring people into the air for that?
Isn't that the one where you like wrap your arms around them from behind and then bend your backwards and slam their head down? Or
Let me have a look.
yeah, I'm trying to remember what the hell's a pile driver. Is that the thing that
Oh, it's
Zangief?
this.
I was gonna say, is that this thing that Zangief does where he just grabs somebody, does like a fucking puts a dude's head between his thighs and slams it into the ground?
I think so.
That just gave me a silly image for Jeff. Good God. I'll grab it. Where did I? Oh yeah, right there we go. He grabs Randy and pile drives him to the ground. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies.
To be fair, Randy was absolutely too dumb to live.
He really was. Like, did he not even try to fight back? I know he's gasping for breath, but come on, man. Also, punch.
He did all
Yeah,
this just. He
just
did
done
all
a
this
fucking
just over
DDT.
bus money.
He did all this over bus money. Oh my God. Everyone is looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying kids, even Troy and Keith. Although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him. Let out fire? Wait, what? No, they stop trying to correct the shit. Each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind. As they let out their final rounds of bullets, Jeff ducks into the bathroom. I am getting mad because there are not enough commas. God. He grabs the towel rack and rips it off the wall. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Ow. Fuck. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He's more agile than Troy, though, because you decided to be very fat-phobic about Troy there, but cool. And ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down on top of him from the top shelf. It just could have just said it.
This is their Joker origin.
Why are the police arriving by now? There's literal gunfire.
I don't know. I'm surprised the police haven't shown up as fast as like the beginning of that opening shot where that guy is inside in that dude's room, and then 3 seconds after the dad gets stabbed in the knife, there's already police coming over because the neighbor apparently heard it.
Yeah, if Jeff calls the police on them as quickly as she did on her own son.
Oh God, yeah. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff.
Both.
Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could, He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lay there bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile.
How do you let out a smile?
I don't know! You let out a giggle, a gasp. You don't let out a smile. No, he had it zipped up behind his mouth, and he unzipped it, and then he let it out. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying the smile bit is a skill issue, if you're worried about that.
Skill issue? Yeah, we're just not good enough to let out a smile. We can only smile.
What's so funny?
Asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on.
What's funny, he said, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol.
Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached.
What?
The bleach.
Yeah.
The bleach
The alcohol
bleached.
alcoholed him, and the bleach bleached him.
The alcoholed him? The bleach bleached his skin. That is not how that works, but sure. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down
Inferno.
a walking inferno. Not a running inferno, a walking inferno. He walked calmly out the door.
Dumbledore asked calmly.
Jeff calmly explained that he was on fire.
What's funny, he said calmly, is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol.
He calmly bleached his skin. Everyone started screaming as they saw. Oh wait, he ran down the hall and fell down the stairs. I am forgetting how to read. Everybody
So he ate shit on the way down. Awesome.
I can't. My IQ is dropping the more I'm reading this. I think I'm torturing myself at this point. Everybody started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, dropped to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flames. The flame, singular. That's when he passed out. When Jeff woke, he had a cast wrapped around his face. He couldn't see anything, but he felt a cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm, and when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in.
I don't think you can get out of bed just yet,
She said.
She said calmly.
She calmly said,
sit the fuck down.
as she put him back in his bed and reinserted the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea of what his surroundings were. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother.
Honey, are you okay?
Yes, Mother, I'm fucking peachy. I'm wrapped up in bandages on a hospital bed, she asked.
I'll get better.
Jeff couldn't answer, though. His face was covered, and he was unable to speak.
Then why did you fucking... Oh, honey, I've got great news.
I have great news. Fuck.
After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go.
When did he confess?
I
Before
don't...
or after he was killed?
Yeah, isn't he fucking dead? I'm pretty sure Randy's dead. They specifically...
American police have necromancers now.
Clearly. Well, I guess that's why he's not Jeff the Killer yet.
Oh, no,
He didn't...
It's not Randy that told him, it's the witnesses.
Oh, yeah, it was the witnesses told the police that Randy... No. The witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to...
He admitted to attacking them.
Then wait... Oh, God, yeah, oh, that's right. I'm like... The story is so poorly put together, it is hard for me to keep facts straight.
That's the one bit of consistency that this has, is this line.
Yeah. This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm.
He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together.
Why isn't he just let out now? You're innocent, Jeff. Or, I'm sorry, fuck. You're innocent, Lou. But you ain't leaving yet. What? Fuck, I don't know. Jeff's mother hugged... I am having a hard time mentally... Okay, I can finish this. I can finish this. Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. She just left him. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like. As the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover over his face was almost removed. Let's hope for the...
They exclaimed, Caesar Romero.
Fuck, Caesar Romero. What smells like bacon? Ah, it's you, Jeff. Let's see if we need to put you back in the oven.
Yeah, let's wrap your face in aluminium foil this time.
Ah, delightful. Great idea. You'll be cooked up right well in no time. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. What doctor? Never mind. He quickly pulls the cloth, letting the rest fall from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Good job, Mom. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. At his face. Goddamn, the repetition, Jesus Christ.
What? What happened to my face?
Jeff said. No, Jeff asked. He rushed out of bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face. It's horrible. His lips were burnt to a deep shade of red that is not scientific. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. No, when fire hits hair, it fucking disappears.
How does fire turn your face white?
How does fire turn your hair black?
Or was it the bleach?
I think it was the...
It was the bleach.
The bleach bleached his skin.
Yeah.
The bleach bleached his skin, and somehow his lips are a big, deep red, I guess. He slowly put his... What?
Flesh.
His white flesh. He slowly put his hand to his face. It had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror.
Jeff,
Said Lou.
it's not that bad.
Not that bad.
It's perfect!
His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Specifically his left hand and left eye. Wait, isn't he looking at the mirror at this time? Oh wait, no, he looked back. Yeah, because he looked back at the family and then back at the mirror. And he's not even looking at them. He just noticed... Fuck it, no, whatever.
Jeff, are you okay? Okay. I've never felt more happy. Look at me! This face goes perfectly with me!
He couldn't stop laughing. He stroked his face, feeling... Yeah, because that's what a 13-year... That's what a 13-year-old sounds like. He stroked his face, feeling it. Looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that when Jeff was fighting Randy, something in his mind, his sanity snapped. Thank you, narrator, for breaking out of the story to tell us this. Well, dummy, if you were paying attention, you may recall...
If you watched the last episode...
Last time on Jeff the Killer Z. Now he was left as a crazy killing machine. That is, his parents didn't know.
What the fuck? That read like a fucking duang bit.
Doctor,
Said Jeff's mom.
is my son all right, in the head?
Oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers.
Fuck off.
This is typical. That's right. Last time I went into the hospital, I heard at least 5 people laughing maniacally. And the nurse told me,
Oh, don't worry, they're just on painkillers.
Yeah, that was me last time I was in hospital.
that's totally normal. That is exactly what painkillers do to you. I should know. I recently had to take painkillers and I was laughing maniacally the whole time. Kind of got weird in the middle of the grocery store though. If his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here and we'll give him a psychological test.
You should give him the psychological test before you discharge him.
No, see, like I said, this is typical behavior, Mr. Wendigo. As you can see, he's laughing maniacally. It's because of the painkillers. It's normal.
The painkillers, but they're actually just like expired morphine.
Expired morphine? Yes, perfect. That is exactly what happened. They gave him expired morphine because they couldn't bother to freaking update their medication.
Oh, thank you, doctor.
And she buys it immediately. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff.
In this story, being absolutely fucking dumb pieces of shit.
I promise we're gonna get to something good. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff.
Jeff, sweetie, it's time to go.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff?
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so dog shit. That's so dog shit.
Oh my god. Ooh, okay, I can do this. Jeff looks away from the mirror, his face still formed into a crazy smile.
Okay, Mommy.
His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. Where the fuck did this mommy thing come out of nowhere? What the hell? Like, I know I literally just said, I went over this recently. I forgot that there are just certain details in here that I think my brain just kind of, as a self-defense measure, kind of closed off this stuff.
I think they're trying to imply that when he became insane, he regressed.
He regressed to 2-year-old Jeff.
I was a killer when I was...
He's even more powerful.
I was more powerful when I was 2.
You removed my limiter.
This is what came in, said the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and now stitched together. Wait, they were now clean of blood and now stitched together. What hospital stitches together? Get some new clothes!
That's what I was wondering.
Wait, they kept the clothes and just fixed them?
And if it was an American hospital, they'd probably put another $5,000 onto the price.
Oh no, that would be immediate. That would be on the entrance. Like, they get him into the hospital, they look at him and like, okay, white sweater pants. What's the value on that one? Okay. Oh, looks like there's a couple of cuts here and some burn marks there. Ooh, that's gonna add a little bit of extra the payment and all that.
Hospitals have their own tailor.
Fuck, you're right, they do. Apparently, this hospital has a tailor. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they.
He wasn't wearing them before.
Apparently, he was stark naked.
That's a really silly mental image.
Ugh. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Later that night, Jeff's mother woke to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and carved a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother.
I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurt after a while. Now I can smile forever.
Jeff's mother notices wait a minute, they forgot to put in the freaking dialogue closing box there. What the?
It's fine, it's fine.
Jeff's mother noticed his eyes, ringed in black. Jeff, your eyes. His eyes were seemingly never closing.
I couldn't see my face. I got tired and my eyes started to close. I burned out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face.
Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. He is insane!
You can't pull the wool over her eyes.
I almost had it. If only you didn't rush into me while I was fixing my face, Mom. What's wrong?
Oh, this fucking line. I remember this line.
What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful?
That's a line from
Forgot to close the quotes again.
They forgot to close the quotes again! Like, I'm sorry. This just brings me back to the DeviantArt days. Like, I was one of those people that, like I said, I got scared by the original Jeff the Killer, and I actually have a couple of drawings of Jeff the Killer, but I specifically remember seeing fan art of Jeff and that fucking line being carved in like red blood in the background. Aren't I beautiful? Everywhere. Oh, this is making me cringe back in. Oh, thank God I don't have DeviantArt anymore. Yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Well, let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. I just said that out loud. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his sleep. Honey, get the...
What room did she run into?
Into the room. Not any room specifically, just the room. Honey, get the gun! Aren't I beautiful, Mom? Die. Honey, get the gun. She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy. You lied. That is the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with the knife, gutting both of them. Wait, a fucking 13-year-old just immediately guts 2 full-grown... Just stop.
Yeah.
Okay. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noise. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. He looked up. Before Jeff's hand covered his mouth, he slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou thrashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip.
Shh, Jeff said. Just go to sleep.
And that is the very, very poorly written Jeff. The fucking...
I'm just reading the comments.
Oh my god, I didn't see the comments either. Hold on.
I hate how people make him hot.
Oh my god, that's right. That was like a big thing. Like there were fangirls back in the DeviantArt days where they just lusted over Jeff like nobody's business.
What?
It's the same thing with, I don't know, there's something with white girls and serial killers.
Oh no. They treat Jeff they back in the day they treated Jeff the Killer back then like how they treat Jeffrey Dahmer today.
Yeah. That's basically
Like
it.
one of the comments says, though, you can just use pepper spray in Jeff's eyes. He can't close them.
Oh my god, that would be agony. I see one commenter screaming, I am literally going insane reading this.
Yes, so did we.
Oh my god. Okay, like, I realize we really extended our attempt at reading this, but, like, understandably, like, it is crazy how this story became as popular as it did back in the day, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, we also just had no standards because we were kids.
It also doesn't help that it also came accompanied by that you know, the infamous, like, image, white face, big-ass, red, toothy grin and all that picture. Which...
And apparently that picture isn't even like the original person or something. It's just like photoshopped over.
Yeah, the funny thing about that, well, actually not even really funny. I think Some Ordinary Gamers, Mutahar, kind of went better over it. This picture, TLDR, is like forever lost media because the history behind this image is like too dense for me to really even go into with this video. So I'll probably point people to go watch Mutahar's video about it. But for what I would consider to be good is that the origin of this image must never, ever be found. It is legitimately for the best that nobody ever finds the origin of this image. It's pretty crazy.
Wasn't it just basically like a fat phobic thing?
No, I think it was from, I think the working theory right now is that it was an edited image of a victim of bullying, and from what I understand, I think it was Japanese. Okay, they're like I said.
It was the Japanese thing. Yeah, that's what I remembered vaguely.
In a rare like case of the internet coming together, like as soon as like the origin of this thing was found out, like they pretty much purged the original image of this specifically for the safety of the victim. Like it was like the rarest time where the internet came together to basically stop the harassment and bullying of this one person and completely wiped all forms of information or where the original image even is now. Just to kind of help this person.
What's the saying that people usually have when it comes to the internet? It's like nothing's ever truly gone, but this is one of the rare instances where it is.
This is one of the most exceedingly rare cases where the rule of the internet does not apply. The origin of this image is like forever lost, and I feel like with what I've learned about it, it's probably best for it to never be found. Now,
it's bizarre.
Now, I'm going to give us a palate cleanser. So,
oh boy.
Don't worry, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So, a little bit of a fun fact. In 2015, there was a moment, I think it's because of the creepypasta wikis, like moderators and all of that, where they have like this sort of standard. And I originally, Jeff the Killer was on the creepypasta wiki, the original one. Well, because they've been sticking to a standard, the only reason that Jeff the Killer was on that website was simply because of its popularity, not because of its quality. So, they actually moved the original story to a troll pasta site. And in 2015, they had a contest where upcoming writers could make a, hey, we want Jeff the Killer, let's make a competently written one, which gave birth to the 2015 retelling of Jeff the Killer by K. Banning Kellum. I think I got his name right. Which arguably is infinite. It is a lot better. There are some problems that I do have with it, but it is better. Like, instead of, like, give you an example, you know the whole thing about his face being scarred with, like, bleach and vodka and all of that?
Yeah.
In this new retelling that won this big contest by Kellum, instead of like this big thing, Jeff and Randy are forced to, like, hang out. Because apparently Randy's dad is, like, Jeff's dad's boss at their job, which is why they moved into the new town. Kind of giving much more of a reason for
it's more fleshed out.
Yes, it is significantly more fleshed out. And instead of... Yeah, so the kids are made to, like... Also, by the way, they're, like, not even 13. They're, like, 17, 18, roughly. They're, like, teens.
Well, that makes more sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like adolescents.
Like, they're adolescents. And Jeff and Randy are made to actually try to hang out and get along because they're parents and all that. And it goes kind of well initially until Randy takes him to his dad's garage where they show off a flare gun. And it's at this point where Keith and Troy come in, a big scuffle happens, and Randy accidentally fires off the flare gun in Jeff's face. And it only hits, like, half of his face, scarring it.
I see.
There's, like, no carving of, like, a wild smile and all of that. No, it's just, like, it was literally an accident which led to his disfigurement. It goes into better detail, but while it is a good rewrite, my current favorite rewrite was made recently by another creator called Pastra. Like, and I mean recently, like, maybe a few months ago it was made.
Okay.
He made an audio drama. However, he also went ahead and made a written version. Now, you remember how this story had, like, that weird cold open about ominous, unknown killer and all of that?
Yeah.
Well, this time, Pastra did a much better sort of cold open, and I'm going to read over it, so that way you guys can actually have a palate cleanser. I'm just going to read over the cold open, and then I'll link you guys the rewrite that's much, much better. And I feel like we can end this off on something actually good. So... this is Chapter 1 of Pastra's Jeff the Killer.
Oh, it's actually got chapters, okay.
Yep.
That must be pretty big.
Oh, it's big. Like, that's why I'm only reading, like, Chapter 1. So you guys can...
Okay.
It's a really good open. Chapter 1. J. Douglas. Rain poured down on Carpenter's Landing relentlessly. It was one of the worst storms this town had seen in years, and it showed no signs of stopping. Lightning flashed throughout the sky in massive bursts, with booming thunder following soon after. Following yet another long night of drinking alone in his dingy apartment, J. Douglas tried to sleep despite the storm. Long black curtains covered his window to shield his eyes from the bright flashes that came and went, but he was left defenseless to the explosive sounds that always followed. His digital clock struck 2 in the morning when one such sound woke him from his deep sleep. The thunder was louder than before, reverberating through his entire room, so loudly he could feel it shaking. The sound startled him awake, shooting him up from his bed and swinging out his arms in such a fashion that it knocked over an empty bottle that sat on the nightstand next to him. It fell to the ground loudly, hitting first against the lamp that sat next to it, and then rattling against the floorboards, aggravating the hangover he could already feel coming on. "Ah, fuck," he mumbled to himself, as he put his hand to his forehead and stared at the clock next to him. The pain in his head came in short, stinging bursts. It felt like at any moment it might split open. As his hand touched his forehead, he could also feel the cold sweat that had collected there. That was when he felt the draft. He slowly looked around his room, trying to identify the source of the mild breeze that brushed across his body. The window remained closed, the black curtain over it maintaining its stillness. The old dusty fan he kept in the far right corner of his room was turned off, just as he left it. He jumped suddenly at the sight of a dark silhouette in the corner of his room. Quickly, he turned his body over on its side, turning on the lamp next to him. It illuminated the room in an instant, revealing the shadow to be nothing more than a pile of dirty laundry he had let sit there for a while, well over a week now.
God damn it, he said to himself, letting out a weak, sarcastic chuckle as he continued to observe his surroundings. The lamp helped him identify the origin of the breeze. With his sights finally locking on the left side of his room, the door was left ajar, slowly pushing open as if something had made contact with it. This was odd. Jay lived alone, and he could have sworn that he closed the door behind him when he got home from work that night. He threw the thin blankets he was covering himself off his bed. Sorry, that was a mess up on my end. Getting up to investigate. He nearly tripped over the bottle left on the floor as he made his way towards the door, cursing to himself as he struggled to regain balance. As he made his way to the door, he grabbed a hold of it to stop its movement, peering out into the darkness of his apartment to see what could have caused it to be left open. He turned to the left, being greeted only by the darkness of the hallways before him, then to the right, staring into his living room. That was when he noticed something else seemed off. The window to his living room was left wide open, allowing the rain to pour in all over his furniture. The wind pushed around more bottles left on the floor, being heard clinking together faintly. Jay opened the door fully and made his way out of the room, stopping for a moment to lean against the wall and once again grab at his forehead. The longer he was awake, the worse the throbbing in his head got. It felt like someone was grabbing at his brain and squeezing, a sensation that was nearly enough to make him vomit. He stumbled his way to the window, making an effort not to trip over any of the miscellaneous bottles left about or his coffee table that sat right next to it, covered in burnt cigarette butts and ash. The carpet he had under his couch was drenched, combining with the frigid winds coming through the window to make Jay feel as though he were freezing. He shivered as he used all the energy he had to slam the window closed, and then he stood there for a moment. Did I open the window when I came home? He thought to himself, trying and failing to recollect the events that transpired only hours before. Jay came home in a drunken state, barely even able to walk through the door as he made his way to bed. Nights like this were common for him. It was just his way of working through the day-to-day life that was Carpenter's Landing. The town wasn't kind to him, nor the majority of the people that made the mistake of calling it home. Sometimes it was easier just to spend the night drinking, hoping you'd forget everything the next morning. Eventually, Jay decided that it was for the best that he just go back to bed, not worrying about whatever it was he got up 2 hours before. His headache wasn't going away for a while, and the last thing he wanted was to stay awake any longer for it to get worse. He mustered up the strength to make the short trek back to his room, nearly falling over at one point and using the wall for support. As he arrived there, he practically collapsed onto his bed, not even being bothered to pull his blanket back over himself. Jay tried to drift back to sleep, but that was when he noticed something else that was odd. A smell that now permeated through his room. Burnt cigarettes. He knew that smell better than any, and it was strong. Not even bothering to open his eyes again, he felt around his bed blindly to see if maybe he had left any out in the open. Nothing. Perhaps if he were completely sober or in less of a tired state, he would have given the smell more thought. But the grogginess of sleep was washing over him once more, and the accompanying headache now felt like a hammer continuously hitting against the front of his skull. All Jay wanted was to sleep. And so despite his suspicions, he soon drifted off once more. He was found dead the next morning. And that's chapter 1 of the rewrite.
Wow.
Okay.
Much better, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's like it's I just wanted to go over chapter 1 because it is much better. Just to give you a much better idea.
No, that is a much better opening. Like, just flat out.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're not going to go over the entire story of the rewrite because I feel like Postra deserves a little bit more of the credit. So while I'm going to link this story to you, I will also link it at I'll basically put it in the comments down below of this whenever we finally get this out. But
sounds good.
It's legitimately one of the better rewrites that's out there. And it is, he does, like, Postra does a fantastic sort of audio drama, sort of style, like sound effects, all of that stuff. It is legitimately a delight to listen to.
Okay.
And probably it's sitting as my favorite version of the Jeff the Killer that I would consider to be the best version. The best, like, oh, now this is a horror story.
I see.
So, What are your thoughts?
Man, that original story is pretty shit.
Yeah.
But this rewrite is clearly so much better.
Mm-hmm. And I was just
it
going...
actually feels like it gives development to a character that is really inconsequential.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of helps the world feel a bit more realized.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, are you finished cringing over there, Nova?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I feel like that would probably be a good place for a sort of a stopping point. We'll definitely have to do a little bit more of this, definitely. Although, as I stated, I think maybe the next subject could be covering something that you guys would probably be a little bit more into, such as Pokemon creepypastas and how they shaped internet horror for Pokemon as a genre.
I mean, the Lavender Town one, I think, that I mentioned, or the Cuban one.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to have to go over
The Cuban one
those.
is called.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to go over some of those classic ones. I know I got a handful, but that's not... We'll have to save that for its own sort of deal.
I do think, what's one of the ones? I do think the Russian Sleep Experiment, in addition to maybe, what was it again? The comic one that I mentioned would be good to go through.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
for the comic one, I think you might need to actually have it on screen for that one, since it's interactive.
Oh, probably. We'll have to kind of see how well that goes. I may have to just put like a little TV in the background. We'll have that playing, but we're not even facing it.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine, just to give some sort of visual to the listener/viewer.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I think for a first attempt we did pretty good, I would say.
I would say so, yes.